Hello again everyone, and welcome back to Sow-Grow-Harvest-Eat. Now if you're anything like me, you see value in really good high quality organic liquid fertilizers. Now it's something I use all the time, every month or so, just to give my vegetables a boost. But when you're looking at really good products, and there are some fantastic products out there, it can get rather expensive, but it doesn't need to be. And what you can do is make your own organic fertilizer at home and basically use all the stuff you'd normally throw away or put on the compost pile, or maybe even throw in the bin because you thought it was pure waste. So the thing I'm going to show you how to make today in a really quick tutorial is weed tea. So let's get into it. So what I'm doing here is I've filled the bucket with weeds. I've taken all the seed heads off as I've gone along, just so I don't put actual seeds from weeds into my fertilizer. And I'm going to put those weeds into that bucket, fill it up with water, leave it for say 2 to 3 weeks, maybe more. Check it every week or so and it will smell. But what you then create is your own homemade fertilizer out of the discards from your garden, and let's just show you how that works. So what weeds can you use for your weed tea, I hear you asking, and the answer actually is all of them. But make sure for any weed that you use, make sure you take the seed heads off, the flowers off. You don't want to be putting the seeds for your weeds around your vegetables for obvious reasons. But there are some really good ones, and you're looking at one of the best ones, which is stinging nettles, which is obviously highly available anywhere, urban areas or countryside, but really high in nutrients, really good to use. And I'm going to be taking this away in a second and putting it straight into my weed tea. There's other really good ones like dandelion, anything with a deep root. There's lots of really good nutrients in those roots, so make the most of those. People have grown comfrey in their garden as well, purely for that purpose. I'm going to actually grow comfrey in the garden next year for that purpose, because again, really high in lots of different nutrients, and if you Google it, you'll see how valuable that actually is. So lots of different weeds you can use. The answer is use everything, but there are obviously some better ones if you can. So here we are. Here's one bucket, about actually more like a third full with weeds, and this one is more like a third full with weeds as well. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. All it means is the mixture is going to be more concentrated, so we can use less of it when we dilute it in the watering can with the mixture. So let's fill it up with water. The buckets are now full of water, a third weed between each, added some stinging nettles. Now it's just a case of compressing them down. So what I've got is a rock here. I'm just going to drop this rock into here, just compresses the weeds down, make sure we don't have too many float to the surface. I'm going to do the same in here. So the last part of the process is of course putting a lid on it. Now I'm just going to zoom in on this part here so you can see there's a hole. The reason for that is of course the weeds are going to ferment for a good 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it takes for the organic material to break down. As it breaks down, as it ferments, it's going to release gas. Now if you had a lid without a hole in it, eventually that gas is going to build up and the lid will just pop off, in the same way it would if you bring beer or wine or something. So a bucket with a hole in the top is quite important. And those more eagle-eyed of you would have noticed this isn't the nicest part of my garden, and there is a very good reason for that. It's right at the very back, behind the fence that kind of tidies up the back of the garden, and it is a little bit of a mess. And the reason why I've put this down here is because it is probably going to stink, and you don't want it near your dining areas or seating areas, any of your really nice areas where you say entertain or just enjoy sitting and reading a book or having a glass of wine after work. So put them somewhere out of the way where the smell isn't going to be a problem. So this is after 1 week of the weed tea fermenting, so it's starting to smell pretty bad, which is a good sign, but every week or so you want to give it a stir. So I've got this bamboo cane here that the dog ate half of. But yeah, give it a stir, kicks up a bit more of a smell, but yeah, looking pretty good. We'll have another look in a week's time and see what the difference is. So in the last video I said let's have a look in a week's time. That didn't happen because of life. It's now been 3.5 weeks, so let's see what this looks like now. I can smell it already, and it looks and smells dreadful, which is great news because the plants are going to love it. Let's give this a stir. Oof. That reeks. But anyway, that is now ready to use. It smells terrible, it looks terrible, that means the plants are going to love it. Next thing I do need to do is take out the rock that's at the bottom, and these weeds and stuff, I'll take out some of the bigger ones and leave the small bits that have broken down, but it's looking really good now. So now you've made your weed tea, you just need to start using it. Now, this is about 1 part mixture to 5 parts water. A pro tip here is don't go crazy with it straight away. Don't put it on everything. If it's a new mixture, you don't know if it's really any good or not yet until you've used it for the first time. So I've got a tomato plant and a pepper plant in here, both that are starting to fruit but are going a little bit slowly. So I want to see if this gives them a boost or if it kills them off. So that's a real tip. Don't put it on everything. You might accidentally kill everything off. Test your mixture out first. So if you did enjoy today's content, please do hit that thumbs up, please hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell notification so you get notified when my next video goes up. And if you have any great top tips about how to create wheat tea, please leave them in the comments.